Are you looking to play your free hit in blank game week 29? Then here is the best possible draft you can build. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through the best possible free hit draft you can build for blank game week 29. So a lot of people will be playing their free hit in this game week, as there are a lot of blanks. Only 8 teams are going to be playing. So there's only 4 fixtures on, and they are Burnley versus Brentford, Luton versus Nottingham Forest, Tottenham versus Fulham. Tottenham are away from home, and West Ham versus Aston Villa. So not the best teams, but at the same time, there are a few options to bring in that can get you a lot of points. First of all, I just did want to say, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and it does help me out. And yeah, leave a comment below what you think on this draft. We'll start off in goal. So I have gone for Emi Martinez. There were a few options to go for. You could maybe go for Areola, but I did feel like Emi Martinez was the best shout. I think it is kind of crucial to get a variety of, I guess, players in this FPL draft, while also targeting some of the main teams with the main best fixtures. So I'd say Spurs, Brentford are probably the best fixtures, whereas the other teams, I'd say they're probably even games, I'd say. But other than that, yeah, I'd say Brentford and Spurs are probably the best teams. So I could have gone for Fleckham, but I just felt like there were more, I guess, attacking options for Brentford's defence rather than Aston Villa. Yes, you could go for someone like Moreno, but with Luca Digne back, we're not too sure whether he keeps his spot. Luca Digne played in Europe, so again, not sure how that rotation will work, and I don't think it's worth the risk. Pau Torres also came off injured in Europe, so again, he's another player that you can't really go for, and he's not really as attacking. So it was kind of like process of elimination a little bit, and I decided to go for Reguilon, which is the Brentford defender, who I think is the most attacking defender out of Brentford and Aston Villa. So that kind of led me to go for Emi Martinez in goal. For me, it's a tough one because Villa are away from home, and I guess then they haven't been that good away from home. They've won the last 3 away games, but earlier on in this season, they're a bit tricky away from home and not as good as they were at home. But for me, this fixture, it's a tough one to call, to be honest, because if you were asking me like 3-4 weeks ago, I'd have probably said Aston Villa would go to the London Stadium and absolutely smash West Ham. But now that West Ham have got a couple wins under their belt, they're going to be going into that game maybe with a bit of confidence. It's going to be a tighter game, but I just felt like having an Aston Villa defender was probably essential in this draft. We'll talk about Reguilon next. So a player that I guess some people did bring in for the first double game week. So obviously Brentford did have a double game week in game week 25, and now they don't blank in game week 29. Since then, he's actually not done too bad. He's got 3 assists in 5 games, which is a really nice return for him. Obviously, he was on loan at Man United from Spurs earlier on in the season, and he didn't really do too much. But we've seen how attacking Reguilon can be for Spurs and recently for Brentford. And I think that fixture against Burnley does look very, very nice for him. In terms of expected goals and expected assists, it doesn't look too good in terms of the stats, but I've seen Reguilon play, and he is very attacking when he does want to be, and I think it's a very, very nice fixture for Brentford. We've also gone for Pedro Porro. So again, his injury is a bit of a worry, but if he is back, then I think go for him. If not, then I think Udogie is a very, very good option too. I think attacking that Spurs Fulham away fixture is crucial to playing free hit. I know Fulham looked okay recently. They've got a couple decent results. Obviously, that one against Man United, but I think when you're playing free hit, you have to attack the attacking defenders, and I think Porro is one of the most attacking defenders in the league. Probably hasn't shown that in goals, but he's shown that in assists. Definitely 8 assists this season. and he's played started 23 games. So Porro, I think, is a very, very nice option to go for if he obviously is back from injury. But other than that, I think a doggy is nice too. Alfie Doughty is next on the list, so I've gone for him because the fixture is actually pretty good for Luton. Forest at home, and he's so attacking. So he's got eight assists and 1 goal. So I guess 1 goal better than Pedro Porro. And he plays for, I guess, a much worse team in Luton than Spurs. So for me, he is a key player in this team. And I think, I know you shouldn't really be thinking like this, but I think with this free hit draft, you've got to think of the players that a lot of people will own anyway if they're not playing their free hit. And I think a lot of people will have Areola in goal and potentially will have Doughty. So for me, Doughty kind of covers that, but I think Martinez is probably a better option than Areola in goal. I think Aston Villa are a better team than West Ham. So that's why I've decided to go for Martinez. And again, a lot of people won't have Pedro Porro in the team, so they're taking him out because of his injury. And it's probably a big chance for you to get him back and play him and hopefully get a return. We'll move on to the midfield, but before that, I just wanted to cover up the bench. So the bench, we'll talk about Douglas Luiz later, but I've got Collins from Brentford. That can be anyone really. I just went for, I guess, the highest in terms of expected points. And I've got Emerson from West Ham on a bench. Again, that could be anyone, but obviously you can only pick 3 from the same team. So I haven't got 3 West Ham, 3 Brentford. So that's why I've gone for them. We'll move on to the midfield now. One of the key assets on this free hit is Heung-min Son. Like I said, Fulham away. He's just come back from the Asia Cup, and to be honest, he's kind of hit the ground running. He's got a goal and assist already, and he's only started 2 games. For me, Son on penalties should be playing up front now. Richarlison's injured. 13 goals, 6 assists this season in 22 starts. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. And for me, he is definitely a captain option. I actually haven't put the captain's armband on him with this free hit draft, but he is definitely a captain's option. And for me, yeah, he's a player that you must own with this free hit draft. A lot of people not on a free hit will own him as well, so you probably won't be gaining too much with Heung-min Son, but there will be a lot of people that won't know this blank game week's come up, and they'll just look at it and be like, oh no, what am I going to do? I don't have any of these players. I've already played my free hit. So you still will be making ground by playing the free hit and still be getting points from Son getting points. But the fact that you can get Maddison as well, I think just actually adds that little bit extra to your free hit, because you're going to have 2 options from, I guess, one of the best attacks in the league against Fulham, who do ship a few goals. They're not a terrible team, to be honest, and obviously they're going to be at home in this fixture. But having Maddison and Son in this Fulham away fixture does look really, really tasty. Maddison obviously back from injury quite recently, and he's kind of started pretty well as well with 3 assists since he's been back, and he hasn't been back very long. His total for the season is 9 assists and 3 goals, and he's started 16 games, so pretty good. Goal involvement is 0.54 per 90, which again is really, really nice. And I'm still expecting more from Maddison. I know he started the season very, very well, but obviously that injury has hindered him and has hindered Spurs, to be honest. And I'm expecting Maddison to kind of kick into gear over these last 12-ish games of the season. Jared Bowen's also in the team. I know I've got the Aston Villa goalkeeper, but with only 4 fixtures, you're gonna have people playing against each other. You're gonna have attack versus defense, and actually, this is actually the only one-ish kind of. But I've done pretty well to avoid that. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think they can both be good options, and hopefully, at least one kind of pulls off a clean sheet, or I guess scores a goal. Jared Bowen, I do think, is a nice pick for this game week. He's got obviously Villa at home, a home game. Villa are going to have Europe as well, but obviously West Ham will have Europe. So we'll, I guess, be a little bit level in terms of that. I think Aston Villa are rotating more than West Ham in Europe. So maybe make it out of what you will. But 14 goals, 3 assists for Jared Bowen this season. He's done so well, and he's kind of gone under the radar. I think a lot of people haven't really jumped because of how I think you're playing a free hit, go for a differential. I've gone for Elanga, 1.5% owned. Massive differential. He plays Luton away. So far this season, he started 19 games. He's got 5 goals, 7 assists, which is 12 returns in 19 games, which is very good for a Nottingham Forest side that I guess does struggle to score goals at points. It's blanked the last couple games, but before that, he's been chipping in with a goal, chipping in with assists, and his data is not too bad. 0.43 expected goals per 90, which for a Forest midfielder is actually pretty good. Obviously, you can go with someone like Gibbs White, but I do prefer Elanga, and I think it is a massive punt, but I think you can go for it. You're free hitting. No one's going to have Elanga, to be honest. I know 1.5% of people do own him, but for me, yeah, I think it's a chance to go for someone a bit different. And with Luton away, I think it is a nice fixture for him. Like I said, it's going to be hard to pick players that don't play against other players. And obviously, Elanga does play Doughty, but I'm not expecting a clean sheet from Doughty. He's only in for attacking returns, to be honest. And I think they both can do that in this game. Like I said, on the bench is Douglas Luiz. Potentially could start, but for me, I think he's a little bit higher owned. He's about 14% owned. I think you can go for the differential and try and kind of gain that a bit more. Whereas Douglas Luiz, I know he's done well in game week 26 and he's on pens and he's got 9 goals, 5 assists this season. But Elanga against Luton. Now on to the forward. So we'll start off with Ollie Watkins. He's been on fire this season. 16 goals, 15 assists, 27 starts, and he's not even on penalties. Like, that's ridiculous. This game, it's a tough one. It's honestly a tough game to call. Like I said earlier, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, you'd probably say Aston Villa are clear favourites. But I think now with the way West Ham are playing, with Europe started back up, I know West Ham have Europe too, but they're more used to playing in Europe over Aston Villa. And for me, it is going to be a tough game. I can see goals in this game. And I think Ollie Watkins is a player that can score in any single game. And away from home, he's done it as well this season. He's done it at home. Yeah, he's so good that I just can't see a free hit draft without Ollie Watkins. Do I think Villa will score in this game? Yes. Do I think West Ham will score in this game? Yes. So it is hard to go for someone like Martinez when I do have obviously Jared Bowen in the team, and it's not as hard to go for Ollie Watkins because he's such a good player and I don't have any West Ham defenders. But yeah, I do think Ollie Watkins is a very good player, and I do think he will deliver in game week 29. Obviously, a lot of people that are not free hitting will have Ollie Watkins too. So I guess it's a bit of a safe option. If you did want to go for someone else, then fair enough. There's not many options in terms of strikers. Burnley, probably not going to want to go for them. Forest, maybe you can go for a Forest striker, a Wanyi, maybe. Fulham against Spurs, maybe Muniz, probably not though. Spurs don't really have any strikers. Richarlison, but he's down as a midfielder. I think Timo Werner, but I think he's down as a midfielder as well, I'm pretty sure. So there aren't really any options. West Ham, do they even have a striker? Yeah, there's no options, but don't get me wrong, Ollie Watkins is a great option. Also next to him, Ivan Toney. To be honest, I couldn't pick one more striker out of these 3. I think these are the only strikers are worth going for this game week. Ivan Toney, Burnley away is a very nice fixture. Obviously on pens, obviously hit the ground running since he's been back from his suspension. 4 goals, 1 assist in 8 starts, which is really good. He's actually blanked in his last 3 game weeks. So he's not on top form, but for me, Burnley away is just, yeah, you just got to have Ivan Toney in your team. Also got Carlton Morris, so the Luton forward. A lot of talk about him leading up to game week 28, but a lot of people did bring him in. And to be honest, I can definitely see why. They've got a very nice fixture with Forest at home in this game week. Obviously, you're on your free hit, so it's only for 1 week, which is great because he's got Spurs and Arsenal right after that. Also, Morris has done very well this season. He's actually been injured for a bit of it as well. So 20 starts, he's scored 8 and assisted 6, which is 14 returns in 20. It's pretty good for a Luton team that have not won many games this season, but they've definitely been scoring goals. And I think that's the main thing to note is they score goals. He's on pens. Yeah, I think you just got to go for it. I can't see there being another forward option in this blank game week. So overall, let me know what you do think of this team. I'd like to know your opinion. Do you agree? And also, please smash a like on this video. Let's try and get to 30 likes. I know we can do it. We've been so close the last few videos. And yeah, it's completely free and it really does help me out a lot. And good luck for the game week. Let me know if you're playing your free hit too.